This is podcast number 192. And today we're going to be talking about stop allowing yourself to be manipulated. Oh, shit. 1 second. I forgot something. Hold on. Oh, that guy. Sorry. Very unprofessional of me. No, I forgot my fucking outline. Normally I do like a big whiteboard, but I've been doing this new technique of like just printing it up and then having it just like that. So yeah, before we get into it, for the people listening on Spotify, one thing I have to mention is make sure you subscribe to the podcast if you're not subscribed, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. This will be streaming on YouTube, KB the Don. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're there, because apparently like 50% of the people that listen to the podcast are not even subscribed, which is nuts. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Now, I'm still working on the monetization. I don't know why Spotify took me off. I'm still trying to reach out to them to get the monetization back. So if you guys can donate, you also can like do a monthly thing. We don't like donate like $1 or 99 cents to the Spotify podcast. So make sure you guys donate to that if you like the help, because I know a lot of guys are always asking me when I don't upload the podcast. I'm like, bro, when you gonna bring back the podcast? Bring back the podcast. The podcast is so much game. And, you know, a lot of guys are always telling me how the podcast literally changed their life. Well, their mindset, which helped change their own lives. You know what I'm saying? It all starts in the mind. And you guys can donate to the Cash App if you like. It's Khalid Bills. That's KHAALIDBILLS. All right. But let's get into the podcast, guys. So this one is stop allowing yourself to be manipulated. And what really inspired this one was I had spoke to a client just yesterday, because, you know, we've been doing the whole Valentine's Day calls, which are relatively cheap compared to the regular calls. And today's the last day. So if your lady's giving you problems, make sure you text the number in the bio if you're on Instagram or if you're on TikTok. But yeah, so we had spoke, and he was talking about how, and manipulation can be a wide variety of things. It's never just one thing when you're talking about manipulation. And not to say only women do it. Men do it too. But, you know, you normally see this coming. You normally see it coming from fucking women, you know, and that's the sad part about it. You know, so he was basically telling me how he's afraid to call his girl out on certain things, and because she suffers from depression. And, you know, he said that he was getting disrespected, and he was just dealing with a lot of stuff because she suffered from depression. And not just like she's just depressed because has a lot going on in life. He was like, no, this girl is medicated. That's not funny. It's not just because she's medicated, but that's not the funny part, because I was having a conversation with my mom. Obviously, my mom doesn't know the person. I was talking to her about it. She was like, first red flag, anybody on medication, don't fucking date them. Like, the perspective, and mind you, I never said this to the kid when we had conversation, but that is something that you should take into consideration. Somebody that is on meds, that's taking antidepressants, perhaps they're not mentally stable, or perhaps they're not in the place for you to be dating in the first place. But that was very wise, but fucking extremely funny for my mom when I told her about this call. Anybody that's on, you know, medication, maybe you should think twice before you decide to take this person serious, because you have to understand that when, on a serious note, you have to understand that when somebody's on meds for their mental health, perhaps this person is not the most stable person for you to be in a relationship with, because that's going to come with a lot of responsibilities. And somebody like that, who uses their depression to their advantage to manipulate you in a situation, lacks 1,000% of accountability. So there is a lot of things that you will be taking accountability for. So before we even get into manipulation and someone who's dealing with depression that suffers from mental issues, first things first, an advice from my mom to you: don't date cuckoo birds. Don't fucking date cuckoo birds. Seriously. Like seriously. It may sound fucked up. It may sound mean. But all jokes aside, if you understand that someone has mental issues and you know this person is being medicated, you have to think with your big brain, fellas, not your little brain. Just because this person is beautiful, just because she has a big old booty and maybe some nice bitties, that don't mean that you're just gonna date her. There are a lot of things that come with that. And yes, that's easier said now. You're talking to a 31-year-old man, right? So I used to make those bad decisions too when I was younger. You see a girl that's super beautiful and she, not just, I mean, bad, a bad bitch, like flawless almost. You know, your first thought isn't, oh, is something wrong with her? No, I need that. I want that. I like that. And I'm going to have that. And I get it. A lot of the young bucks, that's their first thought. That's their first thought. No, she's bad. I'm going to get that. But you have to understand character accounts for a lot. So before we even get into depression, just evaluate. And if you've been watching my videos, especially on TikTok and on YouTube and on the podcast, you have to understand that one of the things that I've been talking about is getting to know someone before you get into a relationship. That is very serious. And these are one of the things that you need to consider, right? So if you find out this person's on medication, and if you understand that if someone's taking antidepressants or Ritalin or whatever medication they're taking, and they have behavior and mental issues, let that be something that you take note to before you get into a relationship with this person. Now, back to my client. Got the good old king cup. I am a king. Anyway, so understand that people do suffer from depression, right? And it is something that you should take serious. And I'm not saying that you can't be there for somebody if they do suffer from depression. You can absolutely 100% be there for somebody. Even so much so, you can date somebody and even help them through it. There's been times where I've dated people in the past and they felt as if they weren't depressed anymore. And they've come to a new conclusion. If I share some of my beliefs that depression and some of the things that can result from depression, like unaliving yourself, that is not something that is good. And I've dated people where, like, they basically used me to get over the fucking depression. But regardless of their mental state, that doesn't allow somebody to show bad character. Now, what my client was saying was he was constantly being disrespected. This girl was going through his phone. And then when he confronted her about it, she was like, shut up, you're chatting. She'd be very dismissive, very disrespectful about it, would go on trips outside of state and wouldn't tell him. As a man, that's something I suffer from too, but we're not talking about me. We're talking about them. And I mean, like, just going doing what I want, but I'm a fucking grown-ass man, it's different. But the point is, this is something that these two people, they're in a committed relationship, and this is something between them that they said this is something that they won't do. And if somebody goes and disrespects that and then always blames it on their depression, that is where you have to draw the line, because it's never okay. Having depression and being disrespectful is never a reason, and it's never okay for you to disrespect somebody. I understand you're sad. I understand that this person may go through ups and downs with their mental states, but never allow somebody to disrespect you. How does that look? Listen, you don't have to talk to that person crazy. You can be completely polite. You can be respectful. You can be a sweetheart to that person, right? But if they take advantage, you still check that shit. I don't give a fuck what they say. You check that shit. Nobody should be able to disrespect. Okay, you have disrespect, but you have depression, but you can still be respectful. If somebody cursing you out, calling you outside, fuck all that. Fuck all that. You don't have to tolerate that, and you don't. And where the manipulation comes in is where somebody says, oh, well, I'm going to unalive myself if you leave. Oh, you don't care. I suffered through this. If you can acknowledge that you have an issue and then say, well, I'm doing this, the acknowledgement is a level of awareness. If you can say, well, I'm doing this because I suffer from this. No, if you can acknowledge it, then you have the power to change it. And if you have the power to change it, you have the power not to fucking disrespect me. Right? And you can always reason with a person. You can say, well, why must you disrespect me? Oh, well, I suffer from depression. I'm just not okay to understand that. But you don't have to talk to me that way. And you know the perfect solution for that is you take the fucking step back. You pull away. And not because you're playing some type of game. No, because actions speak louder than words. And you need to understand that, okay, you suffer from depression, and I'm here for you and I'm here to support you, but you're not going to fucking disrespect me. That's not going to happen. And obviously some people have standards and some don't. But a lot of people don't even have these fucking standards. A lot of men don't even understand that, oh yeah, my girl's dealing with depression, but I'm afraid to confront her about this because she gets loud and angry. I'm afraid to no, you know what? You have to speak. Closed mouths don't get fed, especially if you have a standard of respect. So you have to address it. You say, listen, well, you know what? I understand going through some things, and always be polite. I think where a lot of guys go wrong is they start yelling, they start cursing. No, there's no need for that. Hey, like, listen, you know, I don't really like the way you talk to me. I don't, and I think that you know, it's a little unbearable, and I just think that I'm not going to deal with it. And you simply remove yourself from the situation. I'm not saying you have to leave that person, but they need to understand that actions speak louder than words. And if the disrespect continues, you're going to remove yourself from that situation. 1,000%. And you're not going to deal with it. You know? Another way that men are really being disrespected is not even necessarily disrespected, more or less manipulated, is mistakes that were made in the past. And this is one that I've hated. I think we've all been through it. If you're a human being, you may have made a mistake. You may have cheated in the past. You may have done something messed up that wasn't necessarily the best. You know, really maybe even a little out of character. And a lot of people make these mistakes. But where the manipulation comes is a lot of men, they get this shit used against them. Right? And I guess men can do that too. That's just not the narrative that I hear too much. I don't hear too many women complaining about a man, you know, using things that they did in the past, you know, against them. And I usually tell men, don't forgive for cheating. A lot of women have the heart to do that. I feel like most women will and do have the capability to forgive for it. But mostly I hear it from men. This is something, everything gets used against them. And I think the number one thing is cheating, right? So first things first. If she's going to forgive you for cheating, I understand there's going to take time. It's always going to take time to heal from certain situations. You got to understand that. You got to understand that, all right, if you just cheated on your fucking girlfriend, she's not going to be ecstatic with you right away. It's going to take some time. But if she says she's going to forgive you, okay, cool. You know, you need to give it a bit of a grace period. You know, give it a few months, maybe 1 or 2, 3 the most, for her to not necessarily forget about it, but for it to die down a bit. But if you're dealing with a situation where you did something in the past, and we're talking 8 months to years, and it's still being used against you, listen, at that point, you need to say, hey, if you're going to forgive me, but I'm not going to continue to tolerate and allow myself to feel guilty because of something I did in the past. And if you wanted to leave me, you can, but you decided to forgive me. So now we're here in this situation. I'm doing better. I learned from my mistakes, and we're going to grow. You're not going to continue to make me feel bad and feel guilty. It's like I made a post the other day, and it's, oh, well, some man was talking about the red pill, and I don't necessarily consider myself red pill, right? I think that even some of their views are extreme. I definitely don't always agree with all those guys on Fresh and Fit, because all the shit that they say, I definitely don't agree with, right? 100% don't agree with. And so I wouldn't consider myself red pill, but the guy was saying basically that, oh, you call yourself an honorable man, but you cheat. You're a bad person. And then a lot of people, well, not a lot, a few people in the comments were saying, yeah, I think that if you cheat, that makes you a bad person. It's asinine. It's fucking dumb. It's dumb. It's 100% dumb. And you know why? Because you're basically saying that one action overall makes your character as a person, that makes you a bad person. Overall. Which is nonsense. Okay, so look. You can say that a person is, for example, Martin Luther King, right? Is Martin Luther King a bad person? Well, a lot of people don't understand that he was an avid cheater. He was an avid cheater. He cheated on his wife like some of these rappers do. Is he a bad person? Well, I think that some of the things that he stood for, some of the things that he fought for, made him a great person. Right? Did his wife just up and leave? No, I know a lot of people contribute that to the times. Times were different. But a lot of people aren't going to consider Martin Luther King a bad person for one thing that he did. And even if you say you did it a few times, does that make you a bad person? Some people are going to elect to say yes. I would elect to say no. But then if you flip it vice versa. For example, if you said Robin Hood steals from the rich and gives to the poor. Is he a good person? Some people would say yes, some people would say no. But I tell you this, he's a fucking thief. He's a fucking thief. No, he's a thief. He's a thief. Because people he's stealing from, what if they never did anything to him? What if Robin Hood just came in my house, took me had firearms in his hand and said, give me your chain, give me them bracelets, give me that Movado watch, give me all that gold, open up the safe, give me all of that. Take that, right? But what did I do to him? Even if he's going to give it to the poor, I worked hard for this shit. He's coming to rob me. So is he a bad person? I would say so. Robin Hood is looked at a figure of hope and savior. No, he's a fucking thief. He's robbing people. If it was the modern world, he'd be doing years in jail for armed robbery. And me watching Robin Hood, I remember watching, especially the recent one with Jamie Foxx. He had a bow and arrow. He was bucking at people. He was severely hurting people. He was taking lives. So, no, he's a bad person. I would say so. And I agree, there's sometimes when taking the law into your hands may be justified, but the point is, it's your character overall. So if you're in a relationship and if you cheated and you made that mistake and she decided to forgive you, okay, cool. And like I said, you got to give it some time. That's never gonna be forgotten. It's never gonna be forgotten. But if you're in a relationship for years now, and it's been years since you've done it, and she decides to forgive you, you have to understand she has to let that shit go, and you have to stop feeling bad. That doesn't make you a bad person. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. If I donate to the poor, and I would never talk about these things. If I donate to the poor, I like do charity work. Every time I'm out, see a poor person, I won't necessarily give them money because they may be an addict, but I'll go buy them food out of the goodness out of my heart. There's no one that can tell me I'm a bad person, but if I cheated once, I'm a bad, get the fuck out of here. No. It doesn't make you a bad person. You made a mistake. You're a human. What about a young kid who's in a young relationship? Maybe he's 17, 18, dating someone his own age, and he cheats. So for the rest of his life, he's a bad person? Are you fucking serious? At that point, I don't even think it's you making judgment calls. I just think it's not intelligent of you to call this person a bad person. I think people need to reevaluate. And this is why I say when it comes to that, you don't necessarily listen to women in those cases. Why? Because they're making emotional decisions. They're saying that shit out of emotion. 100% saying that shit out of an emotion. It's not necessarily logic. And what you have to understand, you can't allow yourself to be manipulated in those situations. Yes, you made a mistake, but if it's fucking years to 8 months later, if you're still going to be with me, we're going to grow past it and we're going to get over it. You're not going to keep using that against me every time I go out to the gym. Oh, I don't know what you're doing. I'm afraid. Listen, I'll call you. I'll let you know. This and that and the third. Some men will give their location. I don't believe in giving location. What the fuck you have my location for? Absolutely not. Because if you need it that bad, then you know what? Maybe we need a break. It's that simple. I never believed, and if you listen to the last podcast, some of the past podcasts, I never believed in the location shit anyway. It's like, what do you have my location for? If I'm hurt or in trouble, are you gonna come? Are you gonna bring the cavalry? What are you really gonna do? Like, think about it logically. Are you gonna bring the arm and hammer? Are you gonna no, you can't even fight. What are you having my location for? To monitor me like I'm a fucking dog? Absolutely not. Now, if you choose to share your location, that's okay, but I won't ask for it. You understand? But my point is, you made mistakes in the past. Stop allowing yourself to be manipulated because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Just stop. You have to, at some point, you have to draw the line as a man. You gotta grab your cojones, right? And say, enough is enough. That's it. We're gonna move past this, and you just cease to entertain it. And I guess I'll do a whole breakdown on Patreon. If you're not subscribed to Patreon, make sure you guys subscribe to Patreon. And that actually is a really good idea. And before I get it, I think that I will forget it. I think that I will write it down on a piece of paper. But moving on to more manipulation. So another thing is, and this is a classic one. This is very easy. I feel like if you're new to the podcast, then this may be news to you. If you're not new to the podcast, then this is very basic and rudimentary. Men that are manipulated with sex when it comes to sex and making love, you know, that's really basic. But, you know, it is on topic. All right, I had to write that down. It is on topic, but it's very basic. And usually when you're in that type of situation where you're being manipulated and you're getting sex withheld from you, a lot of the times you usually have a transactional relationship. And transactional relationships, sometimes they start off that way. Sometimes they end up that way. But it usually becomes, oh, if you do this for me, if you do that, then I'll let you get some. If you do this, I'll let you get some. If you do that, I'll let you. If you go take out the garbage, maybe you can get some tonight. I look at you like you got 12 fucking. Get the fuck out of it. I can get some. Listen, I'll do this, right? I'll use my fucking palm before you start to use shit against me. I'm going to do what I need to do as a man or in a relationship. I'm going to do whatever I need to do. But the last thing you're going to fucking do is tell me that, oh, well, I didn't like the way you behaved today at dinner, so you're not getting, oh, okay. Right? Okay. I don't give a fuck. But what you have to understand is when sex is being used against you and you give into it, what you're doing is you're giving it power. You're getting that person power over you. And what you do is you take away their power, right? And the reason I say, you know, obviously, you know, I don't want you to go cheat on your girlfriend, or especially if you have a wife. Right, but some men believe in that. I forget the comedian. I think his name is Corey something, and he goes, well, I hate when girls be like, oh, well, none for you tonight. Then he laughs and says, no, none from you tonight. He goes, no, bitch, none from you tonight. All I got to do is go across town. You know, some men have that mindset. I would like to say that I have a little more morals. So if you're in a relationship where you are in a committed relationship and you two, especially in marriage, I don't play about marriage. I definitely don't sleep with married women. Had plenty of opportunities, but don't. Especially if you're in a marriage, you don't want to necessarily go cheat. Some men don't give a fuck and they will go do what they have to do. And it kind of sucks because when you really love somebody, you don't really want anybody else. And it's a great manipulation for that person to use that against you. But the first things first, you got to stop making your relationships transactional. Don't allow yourself to say, oh, once you do this for me, I'll let you get. No. If you're going to give me some, you're going to give me some. Don't use that. No. And it almost kind of sucks because you have to make it seem as if you don't want it that bad. And that's the sucky part. By the way, guys, if you're on TikTok, make sure you run up the likes so we get more people in the chat. But yeah, that's really basic as far as manipulation when it comes to sex. It's that simple, you know. And it kind of sucks, but it comes to game, you know. You have to have some type of game, and you have to learn how to game your wife. And remember, for the people that are new to the podcast and new to Patreon, game is not playing games. Game is having game. And a lot of people make that mistake. You get your wife, you think, oh, I don't have to game her no more. I don't have to have any good techniques to get. No, you still have to. That's why divorce rates are so high. It's a contributing factor. People think that they don't have to game their wife. No, once you have your wife, oh, that's it. No, fuck that. You still got to have game. And remember, having game is not playing games. It's technique. And, you know, obviously another one, her not talking to you when she's upset. Just give them space. Very simple. I'm not going to go too far into that because that's more Patreon stuff. Subscribe to Patreon if you want more shit like that. You know, if she's upset, okay, well, you know, I know you're mad. I'll let you have your space. Because the whole point of them being mad is to, oh, I'm going to ignore you and punish him in silence because I'm mad at you and I'm going to let you be upset and deprived from my presence. Okay, well, have some fucking fun. Let me know when you're not upset. And then sometimes, depending on that person, that may take some time. That may take days for that person to get upset. But what you have to understand is you just have to be patient. If somebody's upset at you and they're mad and they're not talking to you, well, you let them be. You can try to say, hey, what's wrong? Are you okay? Do you want to talk about it like mature adults? Because you have to understand that's a mature position to take. We're adults. We're not fucking high schoolers. We're not teenagers. If you have an issue, speak. Let's talk. Don't get upset. Don't go run and cry. Don't ignore me. Okay, you want to ignore. Listen, even if they do decide not to talk to you, that's their right. You let them be. Okay, well, you know, have a nice day. Let me know when you're ready to talk. Don't be like an asshole about it, because that's the mentality, but you don't want to present that, right? But you know, okay, well, you know what? I'll let you have a nice day. Let me know when you're ready. I understand you're upset. And when you're not upset anymore, just let me know when you're ready to talk. And it's that simple. And what you have to understand, you take away a fucking woman's, and I guess if a man does it, you take away their power. You take away their power 100%. Because it's like, all right, I did this in the past, and your average Joe is going to be give in to that. Oh, babe, please. Come on, babe, talk to me. What did I do wrong? Oh, what is it, fucking Keenan and Peele? He's like, Megan, come on, Megan, talk to me, Megan. Like, you know, if you watch that fucking skit, it's so funny. And he's trying to get her to talk to, oh, Megan, talk to me, Megan. Oh, come on. I didn't know what I did. No, don't entertain it. If you're upset, all right, have your space. I'll speak to you later. Oh, you're really gonna leave? Yeah, you're upset. We're doing nothing. You're sitting here in silence, and I'm sitting here waiting for you to not be upset anymore. And this is boring. I'm gonna leave. Speak to you later. Love you. It doesn't mean you're gonna be an asshole. I still love you. We're not broken up. I'm just giving you your space while you're upset. Simple. And it's that simple. It's like diffusing a bomb. Very simple, very basic and rudimentary. If you suffer from that issue, you need to go, you know, subscribe to Patreon in the podcast, you know. And you know, another thing is the stupid narratives in society where if you have a certain belief and you don't agree with the bullshit, now you're a misogynist. I'll get the fuck out of here with it. Listen, it's as simple as just not entertaining it. You don't have to indulge. Oh my God. You don't believe so-and-so can identify as this and that? No, not necessarily. I don't really care what you do, but you're a bigot. You have old, outdated beliefs, and that's misogynistic. You're a misogynist. I can't believe that you think that. You think that I can identify whatever. Hey, listen, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You like it, I love it. But just understand that I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. You know why? Because I have a basic set of beliefs that I grew up on. And there are worlds of people who share them too. But you know what? This person says that identifying, you know, there's been people that's been doing this for thousands of years, and you're wrong. Okay, well, hey, that's what you want to believe then. That's cool, but I still don't share those beliefs for you, and that's never gonna fucking change. You know, it's simple. You don't have to engage with it. And you know what, those people, they turn into the people that's like the old man on the corner talking to himself. If you stay solid and you keep a dominant frame and your beliefs and stay rooted in your shit, it's never gonna fucking matter. Oh my God, you're such a bigot. Am I really now? Yes, because I can't believe that you think that you have to pray to a God. That is so ludicrous. Body count doesn't matter. How dare you? And this has happened. There's been times I've talked to people and I start fucking laughing in their face because when they're talking, I want to mimic them so bad. Like, you're such a misogynist, and honestly, I just think, that you should be, your mother she would be ashamed of you. No, my mother's actually worse than me. She stands 20 toes down on these beliefs more than I do. She wouldn't even be having a conversation with you. My mother would be very proud of me right now. No, seriously, guys. And the sad part is, let's get back to the topic. Guys are allowing themselves to be manipulated like this. Oh, I don't want my girl to get me upset. You know, I don't want to get my girl upset because then she's going to think that, I'm a misogynist. She's going to think I'm a bigot. Because I don't want to because I don't want to go to the LGBTQ parade, bro. So if you don't do that, you're definitely misogynist. And I don't stand for that, bro. Even though I don't like it, I'm 1,000% uncomfortable, but I'm still going to go, I don't really like guys feeling up on me as a man, but, I'm not a misogynist and I'm not a bigot. So I'm still, get the fuck out of here. No, I'm not going to tolerate it. It's that simple. You simply ignore it. Don't deal with it. And don't allow yourself to be manipulated. But if you're a weak ass dude, if you're a weak man, if you're not strong, if you don't have mental fortitude, that will happen. You will allow yourself to be manipulated. It doesn't matter what anyone says. They shouldn't be able to shake you off your pivot. You should be solid in your frame. You should be solid with who you are. Get the fuck out of here. Like, come on. Think about how weak you have to be. If somebody says something, oh, well, you know that there's been people who's been doing this for 1,000. Okay, and so the fuck what? Now what? What was I supposed to do with that information? Oh, shit. So I should do it now? Get the fuck out of here. Come on. It's almost ludicrous. It's almost like shit that you shouldn't even really entertain. You're allowing yourself to be manipulated because you don't want your girl to think you're a misogynist. So what is the solution to this? Obviously, a change in mindset. And the very thing is, stay 10 toes down on your beliefs. Don't allow your beliefs to be shaken. Don't allow your beliefs to be, taken away because there is a certain narrative in society. You have to have a certain level of mental fortitude. You have to. And, you have to understand your value and where you stand at. There's a lot of other things that, especially when it comes to manipulation, you got to change your mindset. And this is the only cure for it. And a lot of guys allow themselves to guilt it, especially when it comes to cheating. No, if you cheat, you're not a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad person. You can donate blood. You can give somebody your fucking kidney. You can feed children. You can save puppies. You can adopt kittens you see on the street. You see an enemy on the street and he's living poor and you donate money, but you cheat on your girl and you're a bad person. Get the fuck out of here. No, stop. And it's as simply as not giving into it. I understand you may feel bad initially for doing it. Yes, and you should. Okay, cool. But if you're a fucking year later, no. Listen, you have to change your mindset. And you have to, at some point, you got to man up and say, I'm not dealing with this no more. Because your negative vibes, it becomes so negative. You're supposed to be with somebody you love, but every other fucking time you're with them, they're talking about, oh, you did this, you're a misogynist. Fuck out of here. Change your mindset. Another thing is, and I think this is the biggest misconception, compromise. Stop compromising. You hear a lot of bullshit about relationships being compromised. That's not true. That's not fucking true at all. Because a compromise means that you're giving up something that you love and care about. Now, if you're doing something you don't mind doing, if you're doing something that is fun, if you're doing something that doesn't take away from take away from your beliefs, doesn't take away from what you believe in, that's okay. A relationship isn't about fucking compromise. That's the biggest bullshit that was ever said. It's simple. You find people who align with your beliefs. And I think some people are so desperate and so fucking thirsty and hungry to get in relationships that, oh, you have to compromise. Yeah, bro, it's about compromise. You got to compromise. So what are you compromising? Do you even know what it means to compromise yourself? That can be taken on so many different levels. You don't fucking compromise anything. If you're with a girl and she likes to go fucking, like, I've talked about this. You know, there's been times in the past where I dated somebody that liked to go hiking. I didn't necessarily like it. She wanted to do it all the time. It's an outdoorsy person. Along with hiking came with camping. I don't want to be in the middle of the woods. And then when I try to try something new, I said, you know what? I can be in the woods. I'm bringing a firearm with me. I'm bringing something. Oh no, that's dangerous. I don't want to be around that. No, I can't do that. Oh no, sorry. I don't like that. Please, come on, it's compromise. No, get the fuck out of here. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna lay in the woods and then there's a bear about to eat me alive. Well, no, there's beer spray. You can spray them. No, get the fuck out of here. I'm not doing that. Because that's a compromise. You're doing something you are 1,000% uncomfortable with, and you probably necessarily don't believe in. I'm not saying that I would never go camping again, but if I do, I will be extremely prepared. I'm not going to do shit that I just completely don't 100% agree with. I remember having a client telling me, this girl said you got to compromise, so you got to go to this gay club with me. Get the fuck out of here. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? And mind you, this is a Muslim kid. He's Muslim. Tell me, his girl said that he has to do that, but I don't want to do it, but I really love her, so shit. No! Man up! Absolutely fucking not. I gotta go to a gay club because I don't... No. That's a compromise. You don't want to do things that... You can find people that align with your beliefs. There are women out there that align with your beliefs. There are women out there that are on the same frequency. And the same thing vice versa. I wouldn't say the same thing vice versa because men usually take the lead. Men usually are leading things. That's why in Islam they say it's okay for men, and this is men in the past, but men to marry a woman that is not Muslim, but it's not the same for a woman because if a man's leading the household, I want pork in my house, I'm going to drink alcohol, that's compromising a religion. She has to take the lead of her man. So that doesn't necessarily work out the other way, but just simply don't compromise yourself. And the next time somebody tells you, relationships are about compromise and trying to manipulate you with that bullshit, no, it's not. We can align on certain things. Now, I'm not saying if you have one disagreeing factor, that means you guys can't be together at all. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there are certain things that you may disagree on, but, if it doesn't hurt you in any type of way, if it doesn't necessarily, affect your relationship and it doesn't affect your beliefs, then it's okay. I'm not saying you got to stop talking to the girl because she likes to go to parties. No, it's not what I'm saying. But like I said, guys, don't allow yourself to be manipulated. And that is podcast number 192. But before we get out of here, guys, make sure you subscribe to Patreon. By the way, and today's the last day for the calls, for the Valentine's Day calls. Calls are normally like 100 and I think it's 180 for an hour, and then it's like 160 for half an hour. But right now, guess what? I think it's $30 for half an hour, and I think it's 50 for an hour. So that's a big price difference, and they're going up. And every quarter, the prices go up in general. So make sure you guys get on that if you want to talk. If you have little issues, because $30 is nothing. You probably put that in your gas tank. It's really nothing. But if you're poor and you're destitute and you can't afford $30, then subscribe to the podcast. Spotify podcast. I think the link in this bio. I think I have to update it actually. And make sure you subscribe to that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. This will be on YouTube. Probably be uploaded maybe later tonight or tomorrow. So you have the visual. And I still got to do all the edits now and all that good stuff, And if you want to make a donation, because I told you guys before, the Spotify, I don't know what's wrong with my monetization, but subscribe, and you can donate a monthly thing to like the Spotify podcast. You can do like $1.99. Even if you do 50 cents, I don't give a fuck. That's fine. If not, you can also donate to the Cash App. Cash App is Khalid Bills. So, money sign, KHALIDBILLS. Make sure you subscribe. Anyway, guys, if you're on TikTok, I normally do a question, but we're not doing the questions right now because it's kind of busy. I'm kind of really busy. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Do all that good stuff. But anyway, guys, I'm out of here.